What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And man, there's just really not a lot going on Treasure Cruise right now. It's really just that calm before the storm, before we get the anniversary stuff, including a brand new update with Grand Voyage and the level limit break system. And of course, the anniversary is also going to be pretty high. But of course, we're in that period now, in that lull right before that is supposed to be happening. And so we don't have a lot of content. So today we're going to be going ahead and having a look at the only Super Sugo Fest exclusive character that I have completely rainbowed out, which is this Luffy right here. Now, many people would say in the community that out of all the Final Tap characters in the game, this is probably, I guess it's probably the weakest or the least exciting of the characters. The character is very bare bones, very basic, and it's not very difficult to comprehend what this character is capable of doing. But in this video today, we're going to somewhat show and see how high we can get this character's base attack. Now, of course, you can do it in a couple of different instances. We're going to be doing it in GARP challenges, so we're kind of shoehorned into using a quick team. But, you know, realistically, because of characters like Bon Clay, you could definitely get his base attack incredibly high. So before we actually get into the video, let's actually talk about what this character is capable of doing with his Final Tap at level 5. So with the Final Tap special at level 5, the only way to activate it is you just have to reach the final battle. So there's no real difficult condition you have to fulfill in order to get it. And what happens is when he attacks last, he's going to give himself a guaranteed Wano slot, and it will boost his base attack by plus 1000. So this is going to be a really nice effect, because just giving him plus 1000 base attack will actually stack with his special ability, and depending on how many recovery slots he consumes before you activate the special, he actually gives himself a further plus 1000 base attack. So just with his Final Tap special and his actual special activation, you can get to plus 2000 additional base attack, which is very good, of course. But of course, if you have characters like Legend Bon Clay, which I briefly mentioned before, he can add 1500 base attack. But remember, that is like a base buff. It is like an actual active buff on your crew, so you can't use both Bon Clay and this Luffy special at the same time. However, the Final Tap special with Bon Clay special will still stack. So realistically, you can do something along those lines. However, still one of the really annoying things about a character such as this is that when you use your Final Tap, you're not really going to be doing that much damage against, random bosses, unless if they are a strength type where you have type advantage. Attacking against any other color, or definitely not a dex typing enemy, you're not really going to be seeing a huge difference whether you attack with this character last, or, someone else with other neutral damage, or, realistically, you'd want to be attacking with type advantage against bosses. So, this kind of Final Tap, while it does seem cool on paper, Final Tap characters such as this I don't think are going to be very useful, whereas characters like Luffy and the Straw Hats, we already know how amazing that particular Final Tap Sugo special is, and hopefully I'll be able to max that out at some point as well. Would love to showcase that in a separate video as well. But anyways, this is the very brief rundown of this Luffy's Final Tap, which I'm very, very excited to show you guys in this video today. Of course, it's very difficult to get these Final Tap Sugo specials at max level, so getting any opportunity to have them at max level and to showcase them for you guys is going to be awesome. So we're going to go ahead and jump into one of the GARP challenges today and see how much damage we can do on the final boss fight of the GARP challenge versus the worst generation. Alright, so getting into the video today, this is a bit of an obscure team, but of course we are going up against the Worst Generation GARP Challenge, which does require a little bit of extra knowledge and a little bit of extra finicky things going on to ensure that the team is working exactly how we want it to. So, the overall goal of this video is just to use Final Tap Luffy. Of course, getting a high base attack would be wicked, but, obviously in certain circumstances it is hard to shoehorn a team into the GARP challenges. However, if we were taking on an arena or a clash event, we could probably build a team that is more focused around getting Luffy's attack to be as high as possible. But of course, as we said at the start of the video as well, is the fact that, Luffy's Final Tap is built in such a way where, you're only really going to be using this character for their Final Tap in a lot of cases against type advantage characters. If you do have type disadvantage or you're hitting for neutral damage, it's just better to hit with type advantageous characters. It just works better, it's more efficient, and that's why characters such as Luffy and the Straw Hats is like, honestly, they're the only character in the game that I would advise feeding final tap tablets to. However, considering at the moment right now, we're so close to the anniversary, which is going to be the 12th of May, we have no idea what character or characters are going to debut during that Sugo Fest, and I mean, it's really hard to consider what are they even going to release at this point. With the overall power of Luffy and the Straw Hats and how powerful and amazing their final tap actually is, and we've seen it in various pieces of content, how can they even exceed or even come close to what they've already done with that character? I really don't see in any sense how they can get any ability in a final tap to be as close to what they've already built with Luffy and the Straw Hats. The only other thing that I could possibly see them doing, which would actually make it be a very valuable final tap, is not only just have some type of effect attached to it, but also making the character's damage be super effective against all types. Potentially they could be just super effective against all types for the first couple of levels, but then once you get it up to like level 5, there's like a huge additional effect added on top of it to make the character worthwhile building. But that's the thing as well, is that if a character's final tap just enables them to be super effective against all types from the get-go, then, you know, you probably don't even need to feed final tap tablets to it anyway, which would be kind of crazy, unless if they went the opposite direction, where they gave the character an effect at level 1, but then once you maxed it out at level 5, that's when you gain access to the super effective against all types. That would be a really predatory way to build the character if they were doing something along those lines, but if you were to get that at level 5, it would be an incredible useful character that could be used in almost any piece of content, and you're going to be doing a buttload of damage against any enemy with an effect like that. But I mean, considering that Luffy and the Straw Hats will literally multiply any damage that you've done prior to their final tap by 1.2 times and adds it onto the final tap, like, that is just unparalleled. Now, another thing they could potentially be doing is if they grab the final tap ability of Luffy and the Straw Hats and literally just apply it to another character. So that, you know, with Luffy and the Straw Hats, you know, one of the big drawbacks with that unit is the fact that it does have every single Straw Hat on it. It means that you can't have any other Straw Hat character in your crew when you have Luffy and the Straw Hats available. Of course, you can use them as a friend captain still, but still, it's probably one of the biggest drawbacks of that unit, and I think that to accommodate for that drawback, they've given them the best final tap in the game. Now, look, we don't know what the character or characters that are going to release during the 12th of May for the 8th anniversary for One Piece Treasure Cruise Japan, but I'm going to guess that it's not going to be a dual unit or a character with lots of characters on it. It definitely could go down that way, but if it is going to be just a singular character by themselves, then they're probably not going to give them an OP broken final tap ability, and potentially we'll have to wait until New Year's of 2022 before we even come close to a brand new final tap that's going to be bringing the same levels of hype, excitement, and damage that Luffy and the Straw Hats were already capable of achieving. But moving on towards this Luffy that we are making the video on, this quick Luffy, we've finally made it to the final stage now, so the final tap is ready, and you can see that his base attack right now is 2,550, so that's actually pretty decent. And remember, my personal Luffy is not Limit Break expanded, which would obviously add a further pretty good chunk of attack. Now, one thing that you may have seen at the start of the video was the supports that I have on my team. Now, the main support that I wanted to use on Luffy was the support where recruit Sabo, which attaches to Luffy, and when he uses his special, it multiplies his base attack by 1.5 times for that entire stage until you move on to the next stage. So this is great because obviously Luffy gives himself a pretty sizable base attack boost when you actually launch the special, and then Sabo obviously adds some as well, making it 5,175 after the activation of the special and the support recruit Sabo, meaning that when Luffy performs his final tap, it's going to add an additional 1,000 on top of it, totaling his base attack to be 6,175. Now, as I said a little bit earlier on in the video, you can definitely make that a lot higher, but it just in this case here versus this Garp challenge, it's honestly pretty impressive. But with all of that, that is going to wrap up this video today. Thank you very much for watching, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.